Multiply what?
Dividing rational expressions.
Keep the eyes and remain Keep the eyes and remain I'm so used to this.
Multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Make sure you're dating your notes.
Hey, Miss Bush,
Yeah.
I think I owe you like $6. Never mind.
Okay. So we're going to jump right in here. When we are multiplying and dividing rational expressions, there are 3 steps. Okay? 3 steps. 3 of them. Number 1. You're going to come, well, you can go ahead and write this down if you want to. It's just a little visual. If you want to remember, when you have P over Q times R over S, it just becomes PR over QS. But we'll look at specific examples for that to make sense. But the 3 steps that I want you to write down.
I have a question. So listen, before we go into this, it's like so many ways we learn how to what?
Come on, stay focused.
What to do, what to do and what not to do. When you multiplying, when the denominators are the same. So those denominators are not the same.
What you're thinking about is addition. We'll get to that on Wednesday.
We writing this?
Yes, your first step that you're going to do, we'll look at that. You'll see exactly what we're talking about when we get to it on Wednesday. But for today, I'll show you an example. There's several ways you can do it, but this example I'm showing you will factor out completely. So your first step, you are going to factor out completely. If you want to simplify or break that down, you can just write factor the top or the bottom, or numerator, denominator. So number 1, you have to factor it out. Number 2, you're just going to multiply. That step is actually really simple. All you're doing is putting them next to each other with your multiplication symbol. Step number 3, you're simplifying by dividing.
What's 2?
Multiply.
What's 1?
Factor.
What's 2?
Multiply.
3?
Simplify by dividing.
What?
Step number 1, factor. Step number 2, multiply. Step number 3, simplify. You can look off of your thing. Okay, so we'll look at an example. We have 6x squared. Make sure you're writing this down as I write it down. It's on my board, it's on your paper.
Okay, can I try this out? Can I try it?
Let me break it down first, and then you can try the next one.
Alright, can I just see if I'm right?
You can tell me what you got for your answer, yes?
It'll be 38 squared, or wait, I'm tripping. Yeah, 38 squared.
So let me show you this way. That way you don't have to simplify from huge numbers like that. You can just simplify and have the simplified answer in 3 steps. So if step number 1 tells me to do what?
Factor it out.
Factor. So I'm going to factor, and I'm actually just going to do step number 2 along with it and multiply it by putting them all next to each other. So I'm going to factor this out. I know 6 can be broken down into 2 times 3. X squared can be broken down into x times x. Make sure, if I'm writing it down on your paper, my board, you're writing it down on your paper. Then I have my 5 times my x, because the factors of 5 are 1 and 5, so I'm just going to leave that 5 right there. So that's my numerator. I've factored it out and I've multiplied it as simplified as I would like to. So then I'm going to break down my denominator. What's your question?
We're going to do it separately for each one. I do 2 times 3 for 6. Never mind, I see what you did. I see that you had 5 times.
So then I'm going to break down my 10x to the third. I have, my factors are 2 times 5, and then I have 3 of my x's. So
Okay, I have a question. When numbers like that, do you multiply?
Don't
Do you
say
multiply by the greatest common factor or
you're just multiplying it out so you can simplify.
any number that multiplies out?
Just you're breaking it, you're factoring out completely. So let's look at 12. Give me some factors of 12.
6 times 2.
Okay, so let's say I can say 6 and 2. I'm gonna write down 2, but I know that 6 can be broken down even more into what? 3 times what?
4.
So that's my most simplified. So I know that 2 times 3 times 2, that gives me 12, so that's simplified completely. So now my next step is going to be to simplify by dividing, right? Oh, I So now my next step is just to go ahead and simplify by dividing, right? I know anything divided by itself is what? 1. So I have this, that turns into my 1. I have 1, 2, 3 X's. I have a 5 here, and I have a 3 here. So I'm left with that one on top. What am I left with the bottom?
2.
4.
Oh, I did.
So simplified, I'm done. I've multiplied it and simplified it as much as I can. I'm left with my 1/4 right here.
That's it.
Yep.
Alright, nah.
So go ahead and try this one.
Always start off easy.
Oh, this I'm giving you an example that's just as easy as one.
Don't do it easy
How'd you get
because it
4?
always start off easy. Every lesson
And-
get hard.
You
2
multiply
times 2, I was left with 2 down
bottom
here.
2 numbers.
I did 2 times 2, I got 4.
What?
What is it?
Okay, so go ahead and try this one on your paper on your own. Make sure you factor it out completely. Then you're going to put them next to each other, multiplying it, and then you are simplifying by dividing. Anything you simplify by, if you divide by itself, gives you.
No.
It worked. That's not even my feet. Man, Miss Bush, wait. Don't take. Why would you play? Why would you do that? I was looking at it.
Sorry.
That's cheating. Stop cheating.
That's
Not
not.
that
She
way,
ain't
it
even
don't
work.
work.
On that. She trashed it.
I should see pencils on your paper, like I see Shaterica's and like I see Travis.
Who should tell?
Okay, you need
I need help, man. Who got this?
No, you gotta cross out. So
Did you just?
I cross out everything that has a pair, right? Because anything divided by itself is 1.
This is illegal.
I got you.
There's a 5 here, there's a 5 here. Then I'm left with just the 2 4s out here. So that means everything up here is gone. I have 1. No, I'm gonna start with 2 times 2, which is 4. Do the same thing.
You can't get when we speak this.
That's why everything that counts up here is and the bottom. There's 3 of them, so there's 1 here, there's 2 here. So it doesn't matter right now, though.
Which way you go? Check this one.
Yes.
You go check.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, but I know.
Hold on a second, I'm coming. Isaiah. Yep.
Oh, sure.
So,
But why you look at me when I said I'm tripping?
so you have
It's 12.
But she was saying 6.
Oh, I thought she said what you
You can't get when we splickety, splickety, lick, lick. Everybody for the 313. Everybody for the 313. They probably can't even see. Yep. Now while he stands tall, notice that this man is not having his hands up.
I get it.
Now who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Okay. I'm hearing lots of conversation, so I'm going to go ahead and put this up here and show you if I broke it completely down. I've got my
Whoa.
3 x. If you put, that's fine if you put the 1. You can, so you break down your, yes.
Oh, I put 6.
You don't have to break it down.
Oh, I put it down.
If you're able to just see it and then
Oh, we gotta
know.
break it down more. I put 4 and 3. I can put 4 and 3.
For here.
For 12.
So
I
you could have
put 6
done,
and 2.
so listen, you could have done 4 and 3 and you could have left this 4. That way you would have just canceled out that 4. You see what I'm saying? So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. You could have left these 4 here and just canceled those out. So if I'm canceling out everything that has a pair, that means if I'm dividing by itself, it gives me 1. I'm left with 1 over 9.
Oh. Oh, I put 1 on
Is
that.
it going to get harder than that?
Yes, it get harder.
Like
Yeah, and then when we get harder, we sometimes don't think about how to fix the hard stuff to get it.
And you won't get that but a little bit easy question.
What the heck?
Okay, so we're gonna step it up a little bit. See? It'll be fine. You'll be able to do it. I believe in you. Okay. So we're gonna step it up a little bit. Okay. So we have 1 plus. I'll show you this example. It's actually a lot more simple than you think. It's 1 plus 3 over 2. 3n over 2n. So make sure you write this down. Times 2n minus 4 over 3n squared minus 2n minus 1. So my step 1 tells me to do what?
I'm a factor.
Factor it. So step number 1, I have to factor. Step number 1, I'm doing what? Factor. So I'm looking over here to see if I'm going to work with one thing at a time. I don't want to look at this whole thing and get confused. I'm going to look at just this first numerator. Do I have something I can factor out here? No. So I'm going to just leave it the same. I've got a 1 plus 3n. Can't be factored out anymore. I'm looking over here.
That's 4. That's 4.
What can I factor out of here?
Negative 2 and negative 2.
What's my GCF? 2, right? I can divide 2 out of here. If I'm dividing my GCF out, I have to put it out in the front. So I have 2 times, what I'm left with? 2n divided by 2 is what? Minus 2. So far I'm done with my numerator. I multiplied them across, now I'm working with my denominator. Do I have anything I can factor out here?
No.
So it's just going to be my 2 times n. So here's the tricky part. We love this type of factoring. I'm looking over here. I need to factor it out. I'm going to. Is there a greatest common factor? No. So if there's no GCF, then I have to factor it out. I have to factor it. So I'm going to take my 3, move it behind, multiply by my negative 1. I'm left with n squared minus 2n minus 3. Looking for 2 numbers. When I multiply, give me negative 3. When I add them, give me negative 2.
So it's going to be -2, -1, +1?
Positive 1 and what?
-2 again?
Negative 3. Negative 3
3 again?
plus 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. Since I multiplied by my 3, what do I have to do with that 3? If I multiply it, I have to do what with it? Divide it out. So I'm going to divide the 3. Simplify, I'm left with what?
I'm sorry. I'm confused by this. By that part. The 2 and minus 4. How do we get to?
Walking Dead when they come back
Why
home?
do we divide by 2?
Because that's my greatest common factor.
Okay, for the top one.
For right here.
Okay.
So if I cannot simplify it,
Put it in front of him, so 3n plus 1.
your head shouldn't be turned around.
Well, you don't need it.
So I'm left with these 2 right here. I can write them down. N minus 1 times 3n plus 1. I'm completely done with my step number 1 and 2 because I multiply them by putting them right next to each other. Now, what can I divide out? Is there anything I see at the top that I see at the bottom?
3n.
What else?
That 2n.
I can't even see.
Is there anything else?
N.
Where?
N.